Hi there, welcome to or welcome back to Tiff Reads Books, where I read books and I talk to you about them. What you're about to see is a vlog that went off the rails and was essentially a fail. My goal was heavily inspired by Jess Owens. I saw her do the first part of the video, which I did 2 weeks ago, I think, where I tracked all of my social media usage and also a little bit my reading time in a vlog just to see what I do in a week when I'm not really focusing on it. And I put that all into a spreadsheet, and I decided this week, what I was going to do this last week, was trade out all of my screen time for different things. So any time that I was on Threads, which was my biggest offender, I decided I was going to be working on a crochet project. And I chose that because when I tend to scroll on Threads is because I'm fidgeting with my hands. So I figured let's replace that with a crochet project. And I can do that while I'm watching something or listening to something. Which brings me to TikTok. Every time that I was on TikTok, I decided I was going to replace with an audiobook. So I had some audiobook time. And then every time that I was on Instagram, I replaced with physical reading. We have this book for an example, but I read this on audio. I have not finished it. Full disclosure. This is what I was reading on audio, and I got... This book is the different number of pages because I'm using the mass market paperback, which is upstairs. I got 600 of 900 pages, so 60%, essentially. 66%. I got 2/3 of the way through it, and I'm obsessed, okay? But we did stop for a minute because a lot of things were happening and I was stressed. So let me put this aside. That was the plan. Here is the template for what I tried to do. I made a template. I've taken the check marks off the template because I did complete a few things. So, this is the crochet project. You will see it. It's not quite done yet, but it is also about 60% done. So this is the crochet project. If you're a Swiftie, you probably know this pattern. I did not. I stumbled across it on Reddit. My friend's daughter is a big Swiftie, and I decided that for Christmas, I would work on making her this project. I'm making it into a cardigan. So all of my crochet time is spent on this, or I have a cardigan I started working on for myself when I just needed a break to switch up projects. So that is what you are about to see is a massive fail. Things went off the rails. I will let you see why they went off the rails, but things just kind of went off the rails. And this is a swapping screen time for other things fail. So without discussing it further, let's get into it. Hi friends. I came home emotionally drained and also like hair frizzied. But I'm making muffins. So let's look at them. I think they're gonna need more than the 12 minutes. I took a box of this Jiffy muffin mix that I've had for a while. Added some nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon to it because I needed more flavor. And don't look at my pans. They were in the oven, and apparently that's my storage space currently, and my kitchen's kind of a mess. I made a list of things that I want to get done this week. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I don't know why, I'm just really emotionally drained. I am going to sit on the couch and work on the crochet project for the hour and 16 minutes that I need to listen to my audiobook. I was gonna take the dog on a longer walk and listen to the audiobook, but it turns out my headphones were trying to connect to my phone last night, and I had just like shut off the Bluetooth and then completely forgot that my headphones were doing that, and that meant I didn't like plug them in. I don't know why they randomly do that. Like my earbuds will just randomly try to connect. All right, I listened for an hour and 21 minutes, and here's the progress. That's it. I had to redo my chain once to make sure it was the right length. I'm still not sure, but I think I can stretch it because it's the right number. I just did tension different each time. So this is probably, based on the width of my hand, 5 inches, I guess. So it's half of what it needs to be, because it needs to be like 9.5. So almost there for a front panel. So let's see, let me measure it. So it turns out I was pretty good with guessing it was about 5 inches. It's 5 1/4. So this is where it matches up to here. So the purple starts up here, and then so I'll probably get to, where's 9 inches? Perfect. So according to the measuring tape, we'll basically finish this brown row, and that will be the width of this for the front right panel. The front left panel we'll go to the end of the purple row. Why does that look? Yeah, so that'll be the 2 panels. And then I'll have the 2 panels, then it'll be the sleeves. So for Tuesday, that's how far we get. I may do more later. We'll see. Hugin would like everyone to know that he's very upset at me. He keeps grumbling. What are you upset about? Now he's going to be very quiet. But he's really upset because he is wasting away to practically nothing. Can't you tell? And I'm so mean by delaying dinner to its normally scheduled time. Right, okay, so I actually just checked everything, and today I was supposed to do... TikTok was an hour and 16 minutes, so that was an hour and 16 minutes of audiobook time. But then Threads was an hour and 45 minutes, so I have another half an hour that I need to crochet for. So we will do that later, and I will probably just add on audiobook time. Well, maybe I'll probably end up throwing on a YouTube video, to be honest. Let's be honest. Because I've listened to a lot of that book today, and I think my brain is overwhelmed, and I'm getting to where I'm like kind of angry with Fitz, but stuff is happening where he's like having to like tell his secrets finally, and I'm just like, yes, and like, oh, I'm so excited because finally someone is calling him out, and they're like, you make every decision that you think will be in the best interest for you without regarding other people's feelings. And then you're just like, no, if you make a different decision, how will it affect me? And Dutiful was like, you don't fucking know. You don't know how it's going to affect you. You know as well as I do. We don't know. And you keep making decisions for other people without taking their thoughts into consideration and assuming you are right. And I'm like, yes. And Fitz is like, oh, this 15-year-old. And I'm like, is speaking the truth. So yeah, anyway, that's my excitement at the moment. So I do have another 25 minutes that I need to crochet for, as well as an hour and 49 minutes that I need to physically read for. So we got to work that in somehow too. So we got to work that in somehow. So we'll figure that out. Okay, for my last 25 minutes of craft, these are dry. So I'm going to go downstairs and try to put these on the Swift and the yarn winder and see what we can do. That's my plan. And then I'm going to come upstairs and try to read for almost 2 hours. I'm going to have to carry over some eyeball reading because today just wasn't happening. Okay, I think we've got this the correct tightness. It doesn't want to stretch out farther, and she said not to do it super tight. So I think we've got it the right tightness. So I'm going to cut these strings and then try to set it up to wind it through here. Okay, so this spins, and this arm spins with it, and there's a hole through it, and there's a hole through that, and then there's a notch here. So obviously the yarn goes through here like a bobbin. So I need to figure out which way to thread things, and then we're good. Are you also a millennial who gets frustrated when you look up how to do something and it's nothing but videos instead of just a step-by-step picture? Like, and then the one WikiHow that was pictures didn't put it through here at all, or through there. They just were like, attach it here, even though they had these things on it. So I watched the stupid video, but she had 2 of these. She called them flyers. She had 2 of these. Mine only has 1. So let's, moment of truth. Always make sure I just go the same way. That's what I thought was going to happen. Okay. Can we... So my tension is not right because that's too close. But my table is just not that big. Okay, so my yarn was also kind of fine, and so I had to hold it at first, and then I think I have to go this way. So I think it's working. At least it's staying in there, so we'll see what happens. It might be caking too low on this thing, but we'll see. Ha! We did it. We did it! I did it! I made a cake. Yay! I gotta take the dog out to pee, apparently. That's the next thing. Okay, so we've got this one worked out really well. Then this one, I don't know, it kept snapping. Either the yarn was not very thick where it snapped, or there was too much pressure. I was going too fast. I don't know, it kept snapping. So, well, we've got some stuff to work with. I'm just gonna have to deal with some ends and hope that it works. It is wool. I believe this is 100% merino, so I can maybe join it with some water. We'll see. I wasn't paying attention, I'd thrown away the tags, but it was this brand, Cloudborne, and it was Highland Fingering. This is a fingering weight, and this is a DK weight. They do look really similar, though. But yeah, so this is Highland. It's just 100% Highland wool, so I'm not sure. But it's 100% wool, so I should be able to join it. So, I really want a 5mm hook. Huh, interesting. Okay, so this goes back to the library very soon. So I'm going to try and finish it. I'm going to set a timer for an hour and 49 minutes. It's currently like 9:45, so we're not going to get that far, but we'll see how much time we have left at the end of the night. Okay, so it took me an hour. Sorry if you can hear my AC unit, but it took me an hour, and I finished The Truth of the Aleke. I just returned to the library. So I think I liked this one a little less than The Lies of the Ajungo, and I think it's because it was less like a cohesive ending, and the author acknowledged that in his acknowledgments too. I mean, it was kind of supposed to be, but it just didn't hit me as hard because it was like kind of a mess at the end, and that was the point. The point was for it to be a mess, so I'm not mad about it. It's still like a 4.5. Like, it was still really good. I'm definitely intrigued to see where the series goes when it finishes up this year. I think the fact that the author made some connections to 9/11 and the U.S.'s response to it in his acknowledgments, and was roughly the same age I was. He was like a year younger than me when it happened. So I can see the connection. I can see the understanding. I feel bad for OC, the main character in this, because he was just kind of like moved about like a puzzle piece. So The Lies of the Ajungo is the sequel to, The Truth of the Aleke, the one I just finished, is the sequel to The Lies of the Ajungo, which is the first and second book in the Forever Desert trilogy. These books are YA novellas. They're set in the Forever Desert, and each of them kind of sets up a manipulative government and a young man discovering that the government is lying to him and manipulative. Standard YA stuff, as far as I'm aware. But he does the first one, I think he mentions that he blends like fable and fantasy together, and I think that's a good description of it. So in the first one, there's this whole thing about, there is no water in the city of lies, I think is the phrasing. It's been a while since I read it, but basically when people turn 13, they get their tongues cut out, or they can go into the desert to try to find water. And our main character decides to go on a quest to find water, and in that quest he uncovers a bunch of lies from his city, and that's what happens in the story, basically. Like, anything else is a spoiler because it's a novella. This one follows like 300 years after the events of The Lies of the Ajungo, where we have more quarreling and like manipulation and secrets and lies, and we're following OC, he was a peacekeeper for the City of Truth, which the villain of the story calls the City of Lies. And we are not sure what is true just as much as OC is not sure what is true. All these events happen where he gets different things revealed to him, and in the end it's impossible to tell what the truth was, who was the good guy, who was not the good guy, and maybe nobody was good. I think that's the point, is that maybe nobody is 100% telling the truth, and maybe nobody is 100% good or 100% bad. And yeah, so interesting. I definitely enjoyed it. It took me way longer. I don't know why the last like 50 pages took me like an hour. I guess that's pretty standard for my reading speed. I put in my pages for Fool's Fate. I'm at page 290. It's kind of depressing that in a normal book I would be almost done. But we have a 900-page book here, so I am like a third of the way through. Very excited. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I have this essay collection called Undrowned. It's like, I'll put the picture up here. So I'm going to start that. I have about 40 minutes left to read tonight. Probably not going to get the full 40 minutes, but I might. So I'm going to start that, and I'm going to set the timer, and we'll go from there. I've been flying through the Undrowned. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I'm not enjoying it. It's a smoky morning. Orange sun. Smoky as hell. Good morning. I'm attempting to make granola. We'll see how it goes. I'm doing it in a pan instead of in the oven, so we'll see how that goes. But if it's easy, I'm just going to start making my own. Although what I buy is fairly cheap because I buy it from the bulk bin. Anyway, that's not the point. Good morning. I'm waiting for the AC guy. Got an update. They're not supposed to be here now until 8:55 instead of 8:30, which is fine. I don't really care. I'm going to be here regardless. So I finished Undrowned last night. I got to like page 130 and because I realized I actually had an hour left on my timer. I hadn't done an hour. I had an hour left. So I was reading this fairly quickly. I skimmed certain paragraphs that were just like, here's all these blocks of text of why I love this sea mammal. It was kind of frustrating. I don't think it was for me. I'm not the target audience. I was looking forward to it based on like the pitch of it being resistance coded in Black feminism based on sea mammals. And I was like, oh, that could be really interesting. It sounded like a pack of oracle cards. Like if you've ever looked at oracle, not tarot, but oracle cards, they'll often have an animal and they'll be like, here's a meditation on this animal and here's what you should pull from it. I hate that shit because it feels like pseudo like Native American spiritualism. So I'm not going to say that that's what this author was doing, but it felt like a similar to the oracle cards than what I wanted, which was essays couched in the science of them. But instead she was like, here's these historical studies from like the 70s and 80s, and here's all the reasons why this is an example of colonialism, which is fine, except we didn't sit with that long enough. And I would have enjoyed that had we sat with it long enough, right? Like, I can understand older science and some modern science being like colonization. I get it. But at the same time, we were like really anthropomorphizing the animals, which I didn't necessarily enjoy, while also like complaining about what we knew about them, but also taking a lesson from it was not very clear on the like message. There was also a section on anti-capitalism, and I was like, okay, cool. And I started paying attention like a little bit more because I really like I'm interested in what she has to say. Because the other ones were like patience and listening, and like it felt very much like a self-help thing. And then we started talking about anti-capitalism, and I was like, okay, no, we just demonized fishing, even indigenous gillnet fishers. And so, oh shit, I just burnt my granola a little bit. No. A little extra toasty. Let me stir this a second and take it off the heat. So I was just like, I don't necessarily like the idea that we're like demonizing indigenous fishing methods while claiming it's anti-capitalist when it just completely ignores subsistence fishing, and even said that those were like subsistence fishers. And she was like, oh, so what do? Do we stop all fishing, even those like those indigenous gillnetters? And she was like, yes, because it's bad for the dolphins. I'm like, okay, but those indigenous subsistence fishers trying to feed their family, what are they supposed to do if not use their historical methods for feeding their families in an area where capitalism has like destroyed their ability to feed their family? And we just skipped it and moved on. And I think that was definitely not fully thought out, and it kind of made me question the other bits of it on things that I'm not as informed on. So when it got to the end where she was like, here's things you can do, I just skipped all of that because I was like, I don't want exercises. So I was struggling to like, actually, I kept wanting to put it down, but I was like, let me at least skim it. So to be fair, I skimmed a lot of it, but each like section in the chapter, each chapter was like was a collection of short essays on a topic. They were retooled Instagram posts apparently, and they definitely read like that. It just wasn't for me. The voice wasn't for me. The tone wasn't for me. The message was not for me. She calls herself a love evangelist, and I was like, oh, I don't like the word evangelist. I'm already like guard hairs up, which is unfortunate, and that is a me problem. So there's people that would definitely like this. It has almost a 5-star on Storygraph with like 900 reviews. So I mean, there's a lot of people that like this. I'm just not in that category. So here's the breakdown. Yesterday, I ended up reading for over 2 hours, physically with my eyeballs. I read for an hour and 20 minutes listening to my audiobook, so that's like 2 hours and 40 minutes listened to, plus the time in the car. I think I read like 150 pages or something like that of Fool's Fate. And then I did a good chunk on the crochet project. I got the first front panel about halfway done. I wound my yarn. I cleaned up my living room. There's still a little bit left to do, and I deep cleaned my kitchen. I need to sweep and mop today. Yesterday I ended up using TikTok for like 2 hours and 4 minutes, which I think some of that was definitely running in the background because I definitely did not have it open that long. And then I used Instagram for an hour and 54 minutes. I think some of that was probably background, but I was like in and out of my messaging app a lot, so background makes sense. I was only on Threads for 45 minutes, so that is a plus. I was only on Threads for 45 minutes. Overall, I used my phone for 8 hours and 54 minutes yesterday. 1 hour and 24 minutes of that was my maps running. So that doesn't count. So that's 7 hours and 30 minutes I used my phone for yesterday, in my mind. So that's pretty good, I think, towards making a change. The big thing was not sitting on the couch and scrolling, but instead listening to my book and working on a project and actually feeling semi-accomplished. I did not want to stop on that project. I'm so like hyper fixated on it at the moment. But yeah, so today, let's go look at what we have to do today. Quick interlude. I definitely just burnt some of the sugar, so I think it'll be okay, and it's hardening, so I'm just letting it cool, and then I can make my breakfast. Okay, so today we need to work on a project or crochet for 2 hours and 1 minute. That shouldn't be a problem considering I have an hour and 2 minutes that I need to listen to my audiobook. So for an hour, I'll work on the crochet project, and then I will probably honestly listen to another hour, or maybe that's when I'll watch something. I'm going to work on my crochet project during my meeting today. Actually, I have a meeting at 10, and I'm going to work on my crochet project. So I'll bring that downstairs so that I have that option to work on that during the meeting instead of scrolling threads, because I often will pick up my phone. So I'll put the screen timer on, the lock timer on, the Bean app, and I'll do that through my meeting. And then I can do another hour later on the couch listening to my audiobook. So we'll make sure we put a timer on for how long the meeting is. And then we have 1 hour and 53 minutes of eyeball reading, and that is the tech. Okay, hi. So it is 2 o'clock. I don't have a lot on my plate for work today. The meeting's done. I have taken the dog for a walk, made myself some lunch, vacuumed my downstairs, the stairway, my middle floor, and now it's way too hot already upstairs. It's 80 degrees upstairs for me to vacuum upstairs. So I'm probably gonna put the vacuum cleaner away and vacuum it tomorrow. We're moving that AC unit to upstairs tonight. So I kind of want to vacuum it before we get it up there. So I think once we get the other one taken down, I'm going to vacuum upstairs so that I can just vacuum under it and everything. I need to wash the filter for that one, but I I don't know, I'm losing motivation. And so I think I just need to sit and digest my food for a minute because I had some leftovers for lunch and a tiny sandwich, like a half sandwich. So I'm going to do that. And in the meantime, while I listen to the last 24 minutes of my audiobook time for today that I'm required to listen to, I'm going to frog this. So I made this granny stitch cardigan, and I've kind of lost motivation on it because I really don't like the blend on this panel. So I think what I'm going to do, I have 2 skeins of this. This is like a rainbow mandala one, and it doesn't go smoothly from one color to the other in a lot of cases. This purple to green being the worst one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to frog it, and rather than doing this type of cardigan, I think I'm going to try and do a hexie cardigan with it, with a different stitch, because I'm just not the biggest fan of the granny stitch. And so I kind of want to try maybe a closer stitch. So I like this green to yellow, but I don't like this green. So I think I'm going to cut this green off and just go with the purple. So I think I'm going to frog it and start over and try the hexie cardigan. I think that's what I want to do. So we're going to frog. Wish me luck. I've finished my 25 minutes, and all I have done is wind one ball from the sleeve and start unpicking my temporary, what I thought were temporary stitches to hold this together. They're actually better done than I thought they were. So it's taking me a little bit. I think I'm going to sit here for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to try and get this apart at least, and then I will go and clean up that AC unit in the corner so that I can put things back where they go and try to fix the robo mop today. I think that's my plan. This is for everyone who thinks my dog is super cute, and he is. He's very cute. This is the hair I just vacuumed out of my bedroom. We're behind today because the brain is not braining, which is why I'm supposed to have filmed, and I haven't filmed. So I'm supposed to do 2.5 hours of crochet today and 2 hours of eyeball reading. I need to carry over 15 minutes of eyeball reading from last night that I didn't do, and probably a little bit more because I think I had the timer going when I was helping my boyfriend carry the AC unit up the stairs. Do you hear that? Do you hear how quiet it is down here? Because they finally fixed our AC and we brought our portable one upstairs. So I'm about to go upstairs and see how cool our upstairs is. It's also a lot cooler out today. There's my yarn barf pile. So I think I'm gonna go thrifting. I've done a bit of work today. It's Friday. No one gives a fuck. I'm supposed to leave my house at 5 a.m. tomorrow to go on a hike. And I'm like considering all of my life choices because I think we're on like a 7-mile hike. It says depending on which route we take, it's 7 miles to 9.5 miles. And I haven't gone on a hike more than 3 miles in years. Luckily, neither has my friend because I was like, I'm gonna be in the back, like having an asthma attack. She was like, oh, me too. It'll be fine. Like my dad's just gonna be up ahead. So going with her dad because I was like, you know what? It sounds like an adventure. It's supposed to not be a super hard hike. It's just a longer hike. So hopefully we don't get smoked out because where we're going is near the Wildcat. Well, it's not near. It's about like 20 miles, 30 miles. I think it's 30 miles from the Wildcat fire, which is like massive at the moment, but it's on the other side of Mount Rainier, so I think we should be fine. So hopefully we get some B-roll tomorrow because I think it should be nice. Hello. Today has not gone as planned. I've done no crochet. I have done no physical reading, and I was supposed to do like 2 hours and 2.5 hours or something like that. It did not happen. I ended up running out to go do errands that I've been putting off, which is good. Like I got the dog his treats that I needed to get. I got some stuff for the hiking trip I'm going on in the morning. And that was also getting stuff for going out on the boat on Sunday. That's basically what I did. It took forever. I left the house at like 2:30. I got home at like 6, walked the dog, fed the dog, ate some dinner, went over to my mom's because I had to bring her money for my horse, and then I stayed and chatted for like an hour, and I got home at like 10 o'clock almost. I need to go to bed very soon because I need to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go hiking, and it is already 10:45. So I am not going to get things done today, but that's okay because I actually did a ton of stuff today. I did go thrifting, and I found a really cool jacket and a sweater that I'm gonna harvest for yarn. So I'm gonna try doing that. That's what I did today. And like that was productive and crafty.
The jacket is really cool. It's 100% leather shell, and it'll either fit my sister-in-law's like an oversized jacket. We can figure out how we can take it in a little bit in a couple places, or if she doesn't like how it fits her, I'm gonna harvest it for leather pieces and make like a bag or something because it's nice. It's cool. Like it's cool. So, and it's in good condition. This is my second like thrift win. So that's my plan. Like I did that. I got my bag packed for tomorrow. I've got my clothes laid out for the morning. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet, and I was debating listening to my audiobook, but I have listened to so many hours today, and I ended on a chapter where stuff is going to start happening. So if I start listening, I'm not going to want to stop. So I'm like obsessed with Fool's Fate. Oh my god, I have not been this like obsessed with, I was not this much into Fool's Errand. I was not, this Golden Fool pissed me off. Like Fitz was making me so mad. Fool's Fate? Oh my god. Oh my god. So obsessed. So I can't start listening to it tonight, but I want to work on the crochet project, the Taylor Swift sweater, and I'll show you where I'm at currently. I need to go downstairs and get my list because I think I'm on the start of 4 orange rows. That's where I'm at. So my goal is to finish this. I only have 11 more rows to finish this panel. So we'll see if I can get that done before I go to bed. That's the plan. I'll check in with you, maybe, when I finish it tonight, or we'll see you tomorrow. So it was really raining in this field. I'm just going to slow it down here so you can see this flash of lightning because it was really fun, but also probably really dumb. Good morning, it's Sunday, and at this point I feel like I've kind of thrown the whole challenge out the window because yesterday I went on a 13-mile hike, 12 to 13 miles, something like that. I think it's 12.45, according to my watch, and our calculations that we did after the fact. I was up at 4:30 in the morning to leave for my friend's house to pick her up, and then we went and met her dad, who drove us up to the mountain. We did the Grand Park via Eleanor Lake. I kept making jokes about the Great Valley because you come into this like one meadow, and my friend was joking and she was like, oh, this is it, we're here. It's like 3 miles into the hike, and I was like, the Great Valley. And then because of that one scene and then I was like, no, this isn't the great anything. And then so then we got to the actual like Grand Park, and I got to make the Great Valley comment again. We were soaked though. We got hit with a thunderstorm passed kind of close to us. My friend looked at the strike map last night. She was like, oh, the strike map. She was like, here's where we were. And then I'll put it up because she sent it to me in a picture. She was like, here's where we were. And all the purple dots are the lightning strikes. And I was like, oh, we were really good with our like counting the beats between lightning and thunder. And I was like, we were pretty good at guessing it was like 6 to 10 miles away. Because that's about what the map shows. So that was pretty exciting that we were right. And then she found a thing later that showed like the length of Grand Park, because I guess if you go to Grand Park it's like 9 miles, but if you go through the end of it it's 1.5 miles. So then we got to the end of the valley, and then we or the meadow, ate our lunch and then turned around and walked back. So or ate our little snacks of dried fruit and nuts and stuff. So yeah, it was a good hike, but I didn't get home until like almost 4 o'clock. And then I took a shower. I was like soaking wet, sore, smelly. Took a shower, and then my boyfriend and I went out for dinner. And then we were going by the grocery store. By the time we got home, I was just ready for bed. So I did not do any crocheting yesterday. I read audio in the car, but I didn't read any digitally, like, or physically, like, at all. And then today it is 10 a.m. I've been up for about an hour and a half. I fed the dog, had some breakfast, kind of chilled a bit. And I have to leave for work in an hour and a half. So I am going to actually work on a crochet project I started for myself because I feel like working on this brightly colored hexagon cardigan. I'm going to flip this around and show you what I'm working on. Ignore the mess. And Hugin's being needy. So I have all of these yarns that I cut from that cake over there because I wanted to cut out these two colors that I don't feel like go with the others. So I cut them into their colors, and I've been rolling a dice to determine the order of the colors. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit and watch some YouTube, and then I'm going to head out to work where I will be on a boat. So I can't really bring a book because it's like dirty and wet, like very dirty and wet because I'll be counting salmon, but I'll be reading on my phone a little bit. I have a couple of books that I could read on the Kindle app, and then I'll get home somewhere between, we'll either end sometime between 7 and 9 p.m. So I'll probably just be going to bed when I get home. So we're going to keep the vlog going until Tuesday anyway, and we'll just count up what I get done, and we'll count up my total screen usage and compare it to the previous week, and we'll just keep doing that because I've got some good footage from the thunderstorm yesterday while we were hiking. I don't think you can hear the thunder in any of it, but I've got some good hiking footage and stuff. So we'll just finish out the vlog, see what I read, and how much I used my screen. Hello. So I debated just tossing this video because it's not going as planned. Like, I really debated it even after I said yesterday, like, I'm not going to because I have some good, like, B-roll and stuff. We're going to continue. I am feeling really, like, the anxiety and depression kind of coming in at the moment, and I am not quite sure why. So I'm kind of trying to do things that I feel motivated to do at the moment. I really want to finish. Hugin's having a moment because I haven't fed him dinner. It's like 5:30. It's 5:08. His dinner time is 6:30. He can wait. This is me always being like, Hugin can wait because he has his times that he eats. Anyway, you can see the bags under my eyes. That's been a while since I've had those. So, words. I'm feeling motivated to do one thing in this moment right now, and that is to work on my rainbow colors hexie cardigan, because that's just what I'm motivated to do at the moment. I think it's because if I start the sleeves on the Taylor Swift one, I have to do a chain, and I don't want a chain right now. But my goal is to work on that later tonight. I have a few things I have to do today, and then I will work on that later tonight. I'm going to spend like an hour just doing this, and then hopefully that will reset my brain, and I will want to read Fool's Fate, because I want to finish it, but I have this thing where I just don't want to pick it up. It's like the idea of starting something. That's like, I don't want to start the chain. I don't want to start the next chapter of the book. I don't want to start a cleaning project because this is working on something that I'm already working on. Try not to drop my hook out of my stitch. So, I'm going to work on this for an hour. Yesterday, I did manage to read 2 manga while I was out at the dock. I could have read more, but I was trying to save my phone battery a little bit, and I also just wasn't feeling very focused. Also, every time I would like open the actual app to read, then we would get a load of fish. Every time I was like scrolling Instagram, we wouldn't get anything. So I did read 2 volumes of Witch Hat Atelier, which I'm really liking so far. I have a hold for the 3rd one. I think it felt a little young for me at first, and it felt a little bit like the power of love, and like that's not necessarily my favorite theme, but at the same point, it's kind of being done kind of okay. I talked about this a little bit more in my wrap up that I just did. This is weird because I'm in the middle of this video and did my wrap up. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit, and then I will talk to you more about it because I just don't feel like holding my phone right now, and I don't want to go get my tripod. This is like a long list of I don't wants for some reason. So this is just my check-in. Here is my hexie cardigan. I'm gonna turn the phone around, and I'm gonna show you where it's at so far when it's not a vomit of threads. Okay, so here we go. This is the shape. So this is the body. This will go along my arm, and so I get a nice pink armpit. These threads are on the other side because I was turning the work initially and I kind of stopped doing that because I don't think it's necessary. So, but if it starts getting too twisty, maybe I'll turn it. But this is what it looks like so far. I just rolled for purple. I have removed 2 colors. This is my current, the ones in front, not these are for the Taylor Swift. The ones in front. So pink, orange, yellow, orange. Those are out of order. They go in this order. Green, blue, and then the purple that's attached currently because I got too low on this color and this color to do rows of. So these I'll attach when I separate that one out for the other side. So I'll have a little extra and maybe be able to add that into some rows. So this is what we're currently at left. This has got to get quite a bit bigger. It's currently like good size for like a 3-year-old. And I'm not a 3-year-old. So we're going to try and get a little bit bigger. I'm going to watch some YouTube. I found a crochet channel I'm enjoying. That could be why I'm super motivated at the moment. And I'm feeling very emotionally overwhelmed with Fool's Fate. A mild spoiler, last night I was on the freeway and I was listening and Fitz just went through this like harrowing, horrible experience. The Fool has been separated from him dramatically, and he comes out of this situation. He's like in the snow. I don't know why this man doesn't have frostbite yet, but he's in the snow. He's got all of his gear missing, all of his clothes missing. He's been beaten up. He's got a dislocated arm, and he comes stumbling into the camp, and he's shouting who he is, and like this big person, he's like, there was suddenly like a familiar form or something like that, like enveloping me, and he was like, heart of the pack was here, and I just started crying on the fucking freeway because I was like, heart of the pack, no, the reunion. Like, I was like emotions on the freeway. Like, there's a big thing for me, like, about like men who are like written or even in real life, but who are like overly masculine and still get emotional with each other type of thing, where I get like really emotional about it. And I think it's because a lot of my men in my life have never shown much emotion towards each other, and so when men get emotional like that in stories, I'm like, this is so good. It's so well written. So yeah, that was my emotional moment, and I think maybe I'm just I'm a little drained from that. Robin Hobb is so good at like wringing every drop of emotion out of a scene and therefore out of you, that I feel like I just need to refill my emotional cup before I can start reading again. I feel like that's gonna fall. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. So, sorry if you can hear the lawnmower outside. Clearly it's not the worst thing compared to shit falling. Today's the last day of the challenge, and I'm gonna try today. I need to do an hour and 58 minutes of crochet. I've definitely like hit my crochet quota yesterday, so I at least did the crochet. I don't remember how much time it was, but I definitely like did it. I'll put it up here and let you know if I did it or not. Maybe. I'm feeling very unmotivated today, and I'm struggling. It's lunchtime. I'm taking a quick break from reading papers for work. That's what I've decided I'm gonna do today, is read some papers that I need to do to figure out a protocol, and then I need to go buy some pins, because tomorrow I'm going to pin some fish fins so that I can photograph the fish to do some morphometrics. Basically, it'll just be taking pictures of fish and putting little dots on those pictures and mapping the shape of the fish. But I need to get a good protocol because I haven't done one in a little while, so I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right spots, because you need to put the dots in the same spot on every single image. Based on the shape of the fish. So like usually there'll be one at the tip of the snout and the top of this fin and the top of that fin, and like where the fin comes out of the back. And so I need to look at what the standard, there's not necessarily like a prescribed like here's where you always put them, but you can look at previous papers and go, okay, everyone kind of does this, everyone kind of does that, just to kind of make it consistent, if that makes any sense. I'll put an image from one of the papers if I can find one, because that's what I'm doing, is looking for a good image. I've gotten distracted a little bit though, but if I can find one, I'll put it here. I mean, if I can find one before I'm done editing this video. So back to what I was saying. So today I need to do 1 hour and 58 minutes of crochet, 1 hour and 10 minutes of my audiobook,
and 2 hours and 4 minutes of physical reading. And I don't think that's going to be a problem today. I really feel up to it. Maybe the physical reading, because I do need to, like I said, go out and buy some pins. I really need to mop. So I need to like clean everything off the floor and like do a good mop. I haven't fixed my robo mop yet. So I may get to that, but I just feel very unmotivated to do that right now. And then I need to go over to my mom's to bring the horse supplements that I bought. I'm just looking, one of my plants is pretty yellow right now, so I'll probably need to turn her and water some plants and stuff. I do need to water my plants downstairs, but so I have a few around the house things I need to do. So the physical reading may be a little bit more difficult today, but it's just 2 hours. So that's where it's looking. Because tomorrow I'm going to go into the office and take some of the morphology pictures, which is going to suck because I have to defrost the fish. So that's going to take a little while, which means I need to go into the office kind of early and spend a good chunk of my day there. And there's so many fish in the bin that I'm going to have to like refreeze them or something. Or I think once they defrost, I'm going to have to put them in bags and like freeze them in bags so that I can separate out the number of fish I can actually get through in a day, because I think we have like 40 fish in one of the bins and I don't think I can get through 40 fish. I also have to see if my boss is there to get it down for me because it's on the top shelf in a freezer and I can't put a ladder into the freezer. So yay, because my boss is like 6'3" and I am like 5'1" on a good day, when my back's not hurting basically. So anyway, yeah, I'll check in with you at the end of the day. This last day of the challenge, I'll check in and we'll count up everything and look over everything I did. I think it's been a pretty okay week, apart from like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which was just a disaster. And I think doing these challenges over weekends doesn't really work for me. So that's kind of some of my final thoughts, is maybe doing these over the weekend. And suddenly making it a challenge, I was just like, I don't want to. I hit the I don't want to phase, which is very frustrating. Every now and then I get like really contrary about things. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to be a contrarian. I'm not going to do it. Like, it's so frustrating. Anyway, I like my little sunbeam right here. I'm going to go get some lunch and then read a little bit more of these papers and then maybe crochet a bit. And I will update you later. Okay, I think it's been like an hour and a half, and this is what I've got. This is like half the sleeve. I'm down to this much left of the first skein of this one. So I did get a second one. Ooh, that like matches my Ipsy bag like perfectly. That's my bag with all my hooks in it. So I've got another 3 more panels like this to make, basically, because I'll continue on this, but this is half of the sleeve. I think this is about 7-ish inches, which should give it, where's my end of my thing? I think it's like 7-ish. I just measured it. It is kind of on a curve here. Maybe, yeah, it's like right about 7. So I might have to do an extra couple on the end, but we'll see. I think 14 is gonna be wide enough around. It will stretch a little bit. So, because like it's for a younger, like an 11-and-a-half-year-old. So, and my arms are like 12 inches around. Most of my sleeves are like 14 to 16 inches around. So I'm pretty sure this will be fine. It won't be like super oversized, but I think it'll fit with the design. So that's where I'm at. I promised Hugin a stroll, and so I'm gonna go do that and come back, and then it'll probably be time to start getting ready to go to the grocery store and stuff, although I'm probably not going to the grocery store till late because it's gonna be annoying outside. Hugin. All right, Tiff from the future, the same Tiff you saw at the beginning. Just to say, this was a really good experiment for me, and I think I learned some things about my habits and about myself, and I probably won't do something exactly like this again because I think it just doesn't work for me. I start putting pressure on myself to do specific things for specific lengths of time, and I resist. I can be heavily contrary at random times, and I think I just kind of start resisting, and I just focus on like the one thing I want to do. So I have some ideas going forward of some productivity vlogs that I want to do. And if you enjoyed this, I hope you stick around to maybe see more of them. If you like this, give it a like. If you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button. I make at least one video a week, and I will talk to you soon with something else.